Fall to Winter Transition Polishes. That's this week's Topic Tuesday. Hello, this is Lacquerography. Thanks so much for joining me this week. Today I've got 12 picks for my Fall to Winter Transition rack for 2023. How I decided to do it this time is I took 6 themes that reminded me of that fall to winter transition time, and I chose my polishes to match those themes. So first up, let's take a look at these brown polishes. I'm calling them touchdown browns. So the first polish up is actually the namesake of my first theme, touchdown browns. This one is a polish by Cuticula, and this one is actually called Touchdown. So this one is from their Fall for Hollow collection that came out in October 2022. And this one is described as a brown base full of small silver hollow flakes. All of these polishes are untrieds for me on this rack, so I'm really looking forward to getting this one on my nails. The reason why I decided to go with Touchdown Browns, it's not just because of the name of this polish. I am Canadian, and November is also Grey Cup season here in Canada. The Grey Cup is the ultimate prize for the Canadian Football League. It happens every year at the end of November. So I thought this was a perfect pick for my 2023 Fall to Winter Transition rack. Cuticula, Touchdown. Here's a look at Touchdown in 2 coats with a glossy top coat on this swatch wheel. Here it is just against my skin tone. It really does have quite a lovely hollow. It's actually not picking up too badly at all in this indoor lighting. I can't wait to see this one in the sunlight. So this first pick is by Cuticula, Touchdown. The next polish up from the Touchdown Browns theme is by OPI. And this one is You Don't Know Jacques. So this polish, again, an untried for me. These ones all are untrieds. This one's from OPI's France collection from back in fall 2008. And actually, this is a new polish in my collection. I never did have the chance to purchase it before, but I've always thought it was a really beautiful, almost chocolatey brown. I really love the look of this one. So the description that goes along with this one is that is a taupe brown creme. And here is OPI's You Don't Know Jacques. And here it is against my skin tone. I actually really like that almost grayed down effect that this taupe brown has. I think it's a really attractive color, and I can't wait to wear this creme on my nails. It's quite an elegant looking color, I think. So that is my second pick for Touchdown Browns. OPI, You Don't Know Jacques. Now the next category on my swatch wheel is right here, and I'm calling these ones grade blues. And here's the first one up. My first one up is by Sallyhansen from the Insta Dry line. This one is called Time to Indigo, and this one's number 507. So this one's described as a smoky bluish creme. I just think this color is actually quite unique to anything else I have in my collection. It really is an interesting grade blue. Here's this one on the swatch wheel, again in 2 coats with a glossy top coat. And here it is against my skin tone. A really nice mix of blue with gray. Again, that depth to that color. It does add a much cooler weather vibe to me. I'm not strictly a seasonal polish wearer, but I am absolutely drawn to different colors in different times of year. And this one, for me, has all the great November vibes. So the first pick for grade blues is by Sallyhansen from the Insta Dry line. Time to Indigo, number 507. The next one up in my grade blues category is by OPI, also still an untried for me. These all are. This one is Less is Norse. Less is Norse is from OPI's Iceland line from their 2017 fall collection, and it's described as a dark ice blue creme. Here's this one, the deeper looking one on my swatch wheel, again in 2 coats with a glossy top coat. And here it is against my skin tone, a really nice blue, nearly a navy actually, and especially in comparison with the other one. But I do love, again, that grayed out effect. It is a little bit more gray than some of the other navies that I have in my collection. A really interesting kind of indigo dark denim sort of color. So the second pick for my grade blues was by OPI, Less is Norse. Moving on to the next category, I'm starting to be inspired by nature. So this next one I'm going to call Evergreens. For my first pick up, I've got Cirque Colors, Succulent Garden. Such a great sparkle in this one. I can't believe I haven't worn this one yet. This one's from their Maison 2017 fall collection, and it's described as a khaki green with fiery red shimmer and delicate holographic sparkle. It's incredible how much of that I can see right here in the bottle. I can't wait to get this one on the nails. So here's this one, Cirque Colors Succulent Garden on the swatch wheel, swatched out in 2 coats with a glossy top coat. And here it is against my skin tone. That red flash of the shimmer, as well as the subtle hollow. I just think this one is gorgeous. And it does remind me of kind of a silvery evergreen kind of color. I think it's a really beautiful, again, grade sort of muted version of a green that bridges that fall to holiday. I really can't believe that I haven't worn this color yet. I've had it in my collection for over a year and it still isn't untried. I can't wait to get this one on. So this first pick in the Evergreens is Cirque Colors Succulent Garden. My second pick in the Evergreen category is by Heather's Hues. And this one is It's All Right Pascal. And I picked this one up at Polish Pickup, that's PPU, from October 2022. And the theme this month was sidekicks. I'm loving the shimmer and those flakes in this one. This one's described as a green jelly with pink to gold shimmer, green to gold iridescent flakies, and pink hollow dust. This one's, again, entirely unique to my collection. And this one's the much brighter green on my swatch wheel, again, swatched out in 2 coats with a glossy top coat. I'm loving how both of these ones have that contrasting warm shimmer to the green, but this one, I find the color is a lot bolder. I don't know, there's just something about this. I just feel it's so right for this time of year. It is much brighter than this one. And actually with that warm shimmer, it almost bridges into kind of a holiday vibe. But I think there's something about those flakes in there as well that makes me think of some fallen leaves, but it also reminds me of the evergreens that are such standouts at this time of year, where when in my part of the world, where we have 4 true seasons, a lot of it is looking kind of gray and brown, and I find that the green of evergreens just pops against the backdrop. So this pick is by Heather's Hues. It's All Right Pascal. Now for the next category, I'm going quite literal here in terms of being inspired by nature. I was really looking for the idea of fallen leaves. And I've got kind of two different takes on that effect as I see it in my part of the world. For my first pick, I've got this polish by Cadillacer, and this one is called Wait For Me. This one came out in spring of 2022. In fact, it was in March. So this one is described as a milky jelly base with red copper ultrachrome flakes and small pink to orange to gold iridescent flakes. To me, the thing that draws me in with this one at this time of year is it is freshly fallen leaves, but also the idea of frost and maybe even a little dusting of flurries on the ground that sometimes covers up those leaves or provides a bit of a haze to them when they're on the ground. It's a phenomenon that's so beautiful in my part of the world, and we've been pretty lucky so far that right now in the middle of November, we haven't had really any snow flurries covering the ground yet, but they are forecast for this week. I very much look forward to trying this one out on my nails. Now, here's this one on the swatch wheel, swatched out again in 2 coats with a glossy top coat. And here it is against my skin tone. I do find that a white like this is maybe a little bit uncharacteristic for the fall, but this one, with that transition from fall to winter and that idea of frost or snow on top of the fallen leaves, I just think it's a really great interpretation of that vision. And I really do look forward to wearing this one when we get a little bit of dusting of flurries on the ground, which is forecast really soon. So again, that one is Cadillacer, Wait For Me. My next pick in the fallen leaves category is a brand new one to my collection. This one is by Potion Polish. And this one is called Foggy November Morn. I love the components of this one. This polish is from their autumn collection that came out in 2020 in the fall. This one's described as a muted pale periwinkle bursting with red, orange, gold, green, shifting chrome flakies and a festive autumn glitter mix. I love the name and the interpretation of that theme in this polish, that idea of foggy November morn. It really does look like a foggy morning, and then leaves, whether you see them on the ground or whether they're falling from the sky through the fog, it's just so beautiful to me. Now here is this one right here on the swatch wheel, swatched out in 2 coats with a glossy top coat, and here it is against my skin tone. It has a bit of a similar vibe to the previous one, but I love the color of this base. I think that smoky, muted, pale periwinkle is such a beautiful contrasting color to those chrome flakes and the glitter mix that's in this polish. Again, I think this one is going to look really beautiful in November in the transition from fall to winter. I think this one is a standout, and I'm really excited that I was able to get a hold of this one really recently from Potion Polish. This one again is by Potion Polish, Foggy November Morn. And this one was my second pick for the Fallen Leaves theme. Now, the 5th category I've got here, there's a lot of variation, again inspired by nature. For these 2 picks, I was inspired by Citrine, which is the November birthstone. And actually, it's kind of a special one for me. My grandma has just recently passed, and November was when her birthday was, and Citrine was her birthstone. When I wear these picks in these transitional days, I'll be thinking of my grandma. And my first pick for the Citrine category is by ILNP, and this one is called Sundown. And there's a really lengthy description to go along with this one. This polish came out in their Golden Hour collection, which is from July 2022. The description for this one is: flooded with a lustrous gold shimmer, Sundown's warm peach base is further complemented by holographic splendor. Sparkling at every angle, Sundown delivers every bit of radiance and shine that you could hope for. And I do kind of agree. To me, this is a paler interpretation of Citrine. If you look up the birthstone Citrine online, there really is a great variation in the colors. Everything from a very pale lemony yellow all the way to a deep orange and almost brown. It really is a stunning stone. I chose this one to represent a paler version of Citrine. Here is Sundown on my swatch wheel, and it's swatched out here in 2 coats with a glossy top coat. Lots of shine and sparkle here. Again, the sparkle is really picking up in my indoor lighting situation, and I would love to see this one out in the sunlight. And I do find that peachy base, it really does represent Citrine pretty well if you take a look at some of the variations of that birthstone. So my first pick for the Citrine category is by ILNP Sundown. Now my second pick for the Citrine category is drastically different from the first one. This one was actually chosen to represent the darker version of Citrine, and actually this polish has come up a few times as representing Citrine. One place where this one came up was representing Citrine within the Polished Jewel Society handle on Instagram. Monthly, they take a look at a gemstone, a birthstone, and people interpret it in a mani. This polish came up more than once. Also on YouTube, on the channel, if you follow the channel, Restored by Polish, Krista and Jacqueline profiled Citrine as part of their birthstone series, and this polish was one of their picks to represent Citrine. Having this one in my collection, I couldn't help but add it to my picks as well for transitional polishes. This one is by Fair Maiden, and this one is called Mind Freak. And I was really lucky to get this polish by Fair Maiden in a Polish Pickup Rewind offering. I picked this one up in July 2022, and this was a polish that was originally offered back in September 2019 as part of the Magic and Alchemy theme that month. The description that goes along with this polish is that it is a deeply pigmented orange jelly polish, packed with red to gold shifting flake and hollow sparkle throughout. You can see how different these two Citrine picks are. Here is Mind Freak, swatched out in 2 coats on the swatch wheel with a glossy top coat. And here it is against my skin tone. I really do find this one an interesting deep ambery kind of look, and it really does echo that crystalline look of deeper citrine stones. I just think this one really is beautiful. I feel very lucky to have been able to pick up this polish at a Polish Pickup Rewind. This was a really popular one when it was released back in September 2019. And I think it's a beautiful representation of a deep citrine stone. So this last pick in the Citrine category is by Fair Maiden, and this one is Mind Freak. And now for my final category, I'm going with Cranberries. For my first pick in the Cranberry category, I'm actually wearing this one on my nails right now. This one is by Noodles Nail Polish, and this one is called Cider Mill. Cider Mill was released back in September 2022 as part of their fall collection. And this one is described as a red crelly with orange flakies and orange metallic glitters. This one really is pretty on the nails. Very deep cranberry red And the reason why I went with a cranberry pick for my final color theme for my transitional polishes is I am Canadian, but American Thanksgiving does play a big part in Canadian culture as well, although we celebrate our Thanksgiving here in Canada in October. But this cranberry color really is, I think, a very fitting color for this time of year in late November to beginning of December. So just for consistency's sake, I'm wearing it already, but here is the Noodles nail polish cider mill in 2 coats with a glossy top coat on the swatch wheel. And here it is against my skin tone. You can kind of see it in contrast with some of the others that are on the swatch wheel as well. Such a beautiful, easy polish. Considering it does have some metallic glitters in it, it is completely smooth with just a regular quick dry glossy top coat on top of 2 coats of polish. I'm very much looking forward to wearing this one out in the sunlight for the next couple of days. So this first cranberry pick is by Noodles Nail Polish in Cider Mill. My final transitional pick is another cranberry color. This one is by All Mixed Up Lacquers. He Shooka Me Up. And this one is from Little Box of Horrors from back in May 2022. And the theme this month was Rocky Horror Picture Show. This one is described as a berry magenta base with shifting shimmers and matching pink gold lime chameleon flakies. Some huge flakies in this one. Now this one does appear a little bit more magenta leaning on the swatch wheel to the previous one. Here it is in 2 coats with a glossy top coat. And here it is against my skin tone. Just another really beautiful color. I think this one echoes maybe a cranberry juice, or I know my family's homemade cranberries look a little bit deeper and are this color, but some of the commercial ones, actually, it reminds me of this color right here. This one's really pretty, those enormous flakies every once in a while here, picking up in the light, and honoring my neighbors to the south in the United States for American Thanksgiving, which is coming up in just a few days. This one is All Mixed Up Lacquers. He Shooka Me Up for my final cranberry pick. So those are my 12 picks for my transitional rack from fall to winter for 2023. What kinds of polishes are you drawn to for these transitional days? I'm also curious to know, depending on where in the world you live, what kinds of picks do you have for this time of year? Do any of these polishes match up with any of your transitional picks? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to know what your picks are, and we can continue the conversation. If you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing. I put out nail-related content as often as I can, and by subscribing, you won't miss out on any of the fun. Also, if you like this video, consider giving this one a like. It lets me know that I'm doing a good job, and it actually helps me out quite a bit when it comes to future content. Thanks again for joining me. This is Lacquerography, wishing you a really wonderful fall to winter transitional season. Hope to see you in the next one. Bye.